A new era is finally upon us. After just under 22 years of service, legendary manager Arsene Wenger finally announced his intention to step down from his role as manager of the North London club. Following years of hatred and mockery, the 68-year-old was able to end his tenure at the club on a high note with an emotional farewell at the stadium he helped build. Replacing such an iconic figure was always going to be a difficult task for Arsenal to fulfill, but in the end they gave Spanish manager Unai Emery the keys to a brand new era at the club after months of interviews and research. After weeks of media reports linking the likes of Max Allegri, Luis Enrique and Mikel Arteta to the managerial post, the news that Arsenal instead opted to name Unai Emery as Arsene Wenger's successor left the overall fanbase in a contradictory state. Some felt disappointed towards the announcement, while others were optimistic about what this news would bring to the club in future. Personally, I'll admit that my initial reaction towards the breaking news was both idiotic as well as stupid. Seeing just how dedicated the Spaniard is to his new job and also how he keeps true to Arsenal's values makes me hopeful that he proves his doubters like myself wrong in the foreseeable future. After these first 5 Premier League games, it's clear that some positive changes are already being made to the team, but it's going to take a lot more time and effort from the entire team before Arsenal are once again in a position to challenge for the top silverware. Despite having a full pre-season with a majority of the team, as well as bringing in the likes of Lucas Torreira, Matteo Guendouzi and Socrates Papastafopoulos in the summer transfer window, Unai Emery was handed a difficult start to life as Arsenal's manager. The Gunners were forced to start their Premier League campaign against the record-breaking defending champions Manchester City, before having consecutive London derbies against Chelsea and West Ham respectively. After these first 5 games, it seems accurate to say that the North London side are currently performing to expectations. A majority of the fans were realistic and realised just how difficult it would be to beat either Manchester City or Chelsea, while the following 3 games were successfully used as a way of restoring ground in the league table. The words possession and passing were mentioned by Emery in his first press conference about the type of football he wants to bring to London. While there have been glimpses of this style coming into fruition, I think it will take a while before the current set of players are able to truly perform the way Emery wants them to. For a team of Arsenal standards, especially one that was coached by Arsene Wenger for many years, it's not entirely surprising that Arsenal have typically done well when it comes to maintaining possession and completing passing sequences. Considering the fact that Emery is also looking to implement some sort of press into this current team, I think it will take some time for the squad to get used to before they are able to truly adapt and utilise an effective style of press in games. For a majority of these opening fixtures, Unai Emery has implemented the 4-2-3-1 formation that brought him a lot of success while managing Spanish side Sevilla. Overall, I have both positive and negative feelings towards this quote-unquote strongest team that has been used so far. The fact that Lucas Torreira and Bernard Leno are yet to start for the club makes me seriously question what Unai Emery's plans for the duo are. In every game he's featured in as a substitute, Torreira has always been one of the best players on the pitch and has essentially been used so far as an emergency option for when the team are not performing to expectations. I can understand Emery's original willingness to ease him into the side, but it's getting to the point where his lack of game time is becoming ridiculous. One of the most notable aspects of Emery's philosophy thus far is his desire for Arsenal to build up play from the back. Some of the squad's best football under Emery so far has come from some fantastic sequences of passes, such as Alex Iwobi's goal versus Chelsea. The goal from Iwobi was the epitome of the type of football that Emery wants to bring to the club. The movement from a handful of plays during the play was great, and it was one of the occasions where most of the players were trying to produce an alternative or better passing option to produce an overall fluid goal. On the other hand, I think that some of the current players at Emery's disposal lack the necessary ability to flourish in such a system. For example, Petr Cech is unfortunately one of the biggest liabilities in the current setup. While the goalkeeper is still a fantastic shot stopper, his ability on the ball is especially poor, and there have been a lot of occasions this season where his errors have nearly resulted in a goal for the opposition. Unfortunately, copyright exists, so I can't show you literal examples of this, but here are some poorly animated drawings I made to try and get my point across better. You just have to love the professionalism. Considering the fact that Arsenal signed goalkeeper Bernd Leno in the summer transfer window, I find it baffling that he's yet to start a Premier League game with the Gunners considering his superior ability on the ball. Given his lack of opportunities so far, I wouldn't be surprised if the German keeper is not doing enough in training to warrant becoming Unai Emery's first choice goalkeeper. Now this isn't a section just to criticise Cech. While there have been occasions where he is at fault, he's not the only one that is making mistakes in the team. There have been a lot of occasions in which players will play the ball back to Cech despite facing no pressure from the opposition. Considering his limited ability on the ball, the Arsenal players should only play the ball back to Cech in the case of an emergency, rather than allowing him to be a focal point in building play. Also, apart from the defenders, more of the players in midfield and also at the fullback need to be showing themselves more often and offering something different during passing sequences. When looking back at the quote-unquote strongest team used so far, I personally would make quite a few changes to hopefully bring about more success altogether on the pitch. First and foremost, as much as I love both Alexander Lacazette and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, I'm not a fan of wasting the latter in a wide position to accommodate the former. It would be nice to see Emery experiment with the squad and perhaps try and use a diamond formation to form a strike partnership between Lacazette and Aubameyang, but I don't see this happening anytime soon. Obviously, there's no harm in implementing this idea of Aubameyang out wide and Lacazette down the middle in smaller games, but in the grand scheme of things, Emery should prioritise playing just one striker down the middle, and instead inserting someone like Alex Iwobi or Mesut Ozil down the left flank. As I mentioned previously, I obviously would bring in Bernd Leno to the team as I think he suits Emery's preferred style a lot more than Petr Cech. In regards to the defence, however, there's not a lot that I would change. Hector Bellerin and Socrates have both had good seasons thus far, but the same cannot be said for Nacho Monreal and Scott Mustafi. Despite being our best left back, Monreal obviously isn't as good as he once was a few years back and is a liability on the left flank. He can still do a decent job as a left back when called upon, but in the next 12 months the club should definitely sell Sead Kolasinac and finally reduce Monreal's playing time to just a backup option. As for Mustafi, he's currently at a state where he can't be dropped due to the lack of depth in central defence. As soon as Laurent Koscielny is back in full training following his Achilles injury, I'd swap the two in a heartbeat. I think the Frenchman could form a top partnership with Socrates until the end of the season, and then in the summer transfer window make adequate changes in defence. In addition to this, I would also scrap the 4-2-3-1 formation in favour of a 4-3-3 system, as I feel this would greatly improve the Gunners' midfield. I've never been a big fan of Aaron Ramsey playing in the traditional number 10 role, and judging by his performances so far this season, he struggled playing in this position. Some of the Welshman's best performances for Arsenal last season came from him playing in a 3-man midfield, and overall I think he's far more suited to playing in this role in Emery's system as opposed to the number 10 role. Also, I'd love to see Granit Xhaka and Lucas Torreira included in this 3-man midfield. Torreira is a great ball winner and I think he'd do a better job slotting deep in between the defenders as opposed to Xhaka. Torreira's reading of the game and also movement in this position would also help cover the fullbacks Nacho Monreal and Hector Bellerin, who love to play further up the field. Also, it will be intriguing to see how Xhaka improves or develops his game when partnered with a player like Torreira as opposed to someone like Guendouzi. In every instance in which Xhaka and Torreira have been on the pitch together so far this season, I've realised that the Swiss midfielder has always played significantly better alongside the Uruguayan. While Matteo Guendouzi has had a bright start this season at Arsenal, I think he should be dropped in favour of Torreira. Overall, I think it's fair to say that Unai Emery has had a positive start to life as Arsenal's brand new manager. Obviously things could be even better, but I don't think any logical Arsenal fan can be frustrated by what has been achieved after the first official month of the Emery era. As long as Arsenal can maintain their current run of form and also try to prevent themselves from making the same mistakes as the last few seasons, I think this season could definitely be a promising start for this brand new era at the club. And now it's over to you. What do you think of Unai Emery's first official month as Arsenal's brand new manager? Do you think he's been good? Do you think he's been bad? How about you leave a comment or even tweet me your thoughts?